Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Today's video is going to be another transfer video, so make sure you hit that big red button down below. Before we get into it, make sure you go ahead and have a look at the link in the description for Leeds Creator Cup down below. Tickets for adults are £7 and tickets for children are £3. It all goes to Prostate Cancer UK, and it's going to be a great, fun family day event for all of us Leeds United creators playing a big game of football and having a laugh on the 20th of July at the John Charles Centre for Sport. Today's video is going to be about Jaka Bijol. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I should have probably Googled that, but oh well. Jaka Bijol then, Slovenian central defender, 26 years old and currently plays for Udinese. A value of around 18 million euros, and Leeds are supposedly interested. Now, Jaka Bijol is someone who I think a lot of people I've seen on Twitter and stuff have put there like, oh, what our team could look like next season, and they've put him in there straight away. Now, Jaka Bijol is a good defender. Now, I've spoke with Andrea about this. Andrea Russo, of course, friend of the channel. He's been on Joe's channel loads, been on my channel on the Dream Team series and stuff like that. I had a crack with Andrea about him because obviously he watches a lot of Italian football as he's living out there and he loves football. So Jaka Bijol then is a central defender who is more of a classic stopper. When we think about central defenders in the Premier League, we think about a player who can make tackles, make challenges, do the dirty work, but also somebody who can play with the ball as well. And there's an important thing to note here is that Italian football is a very different style from Premier League football. Out in Italy, it's more of a kind of slow, tactical game where every single thing is thought about and it's like a game of chess, and strikers aren't really the stars. A lot of the time, the defenders are the stars. Now, Jaka Bijol is somebody who plays for Udinese, who primarily has played in a back three, I think, as well. And he's somebody who, like Andrea says, is kind of a classic stopper in the sense that he's solid, he's strong, he's tall, he's great in the air. And I mean, for example, I think the two players that Andrea compared Bijol to were Acerbi, who plays for Inter Milan, who's, I think, 37 now, and Harry Maguire, in terms of his style. Big, tall, not stocky, but like well-built, good, strong defender. But he lacks the ability to be a particularly good defender. He said short passing and went under no pressure. He's completely fine, but if he gets any kind of pressure on him, he is the sort of player who will lump the ball long, which is not what you want in... Look, there's certain styles, and people say, oh yeah, well, if you're coming up to the Premier League, you can't play out from the back, you can't do that because you're just going to get killed by it. But you've also got to think about the other side of the argument. If you have defenders who just lump the ball long every time, and you haven't got a tall striker to win the ball, Udinese do have a tall striker to win the ball, Leeds don't. The opposition defenders will win the ball back and they'll come straight back at you again. So you end up doing more defending actually by doing that than trying to play out from the back. So Jaka Bijol is not somebody who's well suited to be doing that role. The other thing is that he is able to carry the ball a little bit like Joe Rodon does sometimes, but not particularly amazing at doing so. In terms of his progressive carries, 0.67 per 90. That puts him in the 59th percentile. So you can see from that he's above average for a centre-back for carrying the ball, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he's particularly good with it. Successful take-ons, near 0.06 per 90, which puts him in the 15th percentile. So that puts him really low as well. Touches in the attacking penalty area is a bit of an outlier here. 93rd percentile with 1.49, but it does line up with his aerials one statistic. 3.31 per 90 puts him in the 93rd percentile. So like I said, he's excellent in the air. He really is. But does that fit the way that Leeds want to play? Yes, you want somebody who's good in the air, but you also want somebody who's able to play with the ball at his feet. And I don't think that's going to suit I don't think that's going to suit us. So when you actually compare him to similar players then, you're talking about players like Yerry Mina, of course, used to play for Everton, now plays for Cagliari. Dan Burn at Newcastle, again, big, tall players who are great in the air, who aren't necessarily very good at actually playing with the ball at their feet. Now, if you're playing in a back three and you want to put Jaka Bijol at the centre of it, have Rodon on the right and Struijk on the left, for example, then it may start to look like a more realistic option. But if you're spending, let's say, 20 million euros on somebody like Jaka Bijol, then you are spending the money on somebody who, for that much, he's going to expect to start. And most of the time, Leeds are going to be playing in a back four, I still believe. So that doesn't really fit the way we play. He is too expensive to sit on the bench for just whenever we want to actually play a back three. I don't think he really suits the system. I don't think the money is right for him. And there's been a lot of interest in Italy. I think he's a good defender, don't get me wrong. But I think he's suited to go to another Italian club. And it has been rumoured that Milan were in for him, or certainly interested in him. And he said, oh, yeah, what a great opportunity that would be. You couldn't turn down a great club like that. So I think he's going to go somewhere else in Italy. There has been interest from Leeds, according to the newspapers and the sources. But I think it's kind of like, this video is a little bit of like a PSA. Having spoken to Andrea, having looked through his statistics, having looked at a bit of the way he plays, I do think that he is somebody who would be a bad move for Leeds. I really do. Well, whilst we talked about the other day in the Habib Diarra video, how he would be a great fit for Leeds, I don't think Jaka Bijol would be. I do think that Leeds should be looking at another central defender. But I think it should be someone who can play with the ball a little bit as well. You want a bit of a mix. Maybe not quite as good in the air as Jaka Bijol, but leveled out by the fact that they can play with the ball as well. You don't necessarily need them to be a world beater. Look at Joe Rodon. Sometimes his passes are a bit wayward, but he's got it in his locker to play with the ball and not just panic when people come near him. So, yeah, let's keep this one under the on our radar, but I don't think it's the right move. I don't think it's the right move for Leeds to make. I really don't. When we look at some of his other statistics, even his tackles 1.31 per 90 puts him in the 36th percentile. Interceptions 1.15 per 90 puts him in the 60th percentile, and blocks 1.15 puts him in the 42nd percentile. His clearances and his aerials are the best statistics defensively, with 5.53 clearances per 90, putting him in the 71st percentile. So like I said, being compared to some of those other players that we mentioned, Yerry Mina, you kind of get the idea that that's the type of player he is. So I just don't think it's the right move to go for Leeds. I really don't. I think we should be going for somebody with a little bit more of an ability to play the ball. I get the interest because of the defensive capabilities, and you want someone solid in the Premier League, but I think you want someone solid with a little bit of an ability to play with the ball as well. That's my thoughts on Jaka Bijol. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Like I said at the start, make sure you get your tickets for Leeds Creator Cup. That is down in the description below, and check out the other links as well. Back 4 merch, my affiliate link is down there. If you use the code LeedsLily10 at checkout, you'll get some money off. And also my Etsy prints as well. Go and check them out in the description below if you wouldn't mind, because there's some nice Leeds United artwork that was made by myself. Thanks for watching Leeds lately, and I'll see you in the next one.